Hi everyone, Jason from Iron Fence Shop. Today I wanted to go over marking your layout and setting your posts. This video will cover the standard in-ground installation of the posts. While the measuring and layout techniques will be the same, be sure to check out our video if you're installing your fence over a patio, concrete deck, or surface of some kind where you won't be burying the posts in ground. Those videos will cover how to handle the installation when you're using one of our flange posts. Let's get started by reviewing the materials you're going to need to mark your layout and set your posts. Before getting things going, let's make sure you have all the tools and materials you need. Here's a list of typical items required for marking your layout and setting your posts. A drawing of your layout plan, a tape measure, walking wheel or measuring tool for long runs, marking spray paint, steel rebar or wood stakes, a hammer, a rubber mallet, a level, a straight edge to fit over the post hole. Now if you're using a level that's large enough to fit over the post hole, you can utilize that as your straight edge. High visibility string, Carpenter square or angle finder tool, manual or powered post hole digger, bagged cement for the post holes. Now a note on the cement. We recommend using one of the many online calculators provided by concrete manufacturers to determine the number of bags you're going to need. You will need to know the size and number of posts for your project as well as the depth of the post hole. You can determine both these by reviewing our printed installation guides and looking at the post size and count noted on your order confirmation. Wheelbarrow or mixing tub for the cement, shovel, hose or water source, and river gravel, which is optional but we do recommend and we'll cover later on. Okay, tools and materials in hand, there's two more things you want to make sure of before we actually get started here. The first is finding out if a fence permit is required and getting one if it is. A quick visit to your city's website or a call to the building or engineering department should be able to let you know if one is going to be required and what is required if they want you to have one. The second and very important item is to have your utilities marked. 811 is a nationwide service that will come out and mark your utilities at no cost whatsoever. The last thing you want to do is dig into a cable, water, gas, or electrical line as you begin your project. Trust me, that's no fun, and having your utilities marked will make sure that you don't run into this problem. Alright, with your fence permit taken care of and your buried utilities noted, the next thing we want to do is mark our layout. Grab your layout drawing, measuring device, and marking spray paint. Using your layout drawing as a reference tool where you want the fence to go, start on an end or corner of the layout and mark the ground with your paint. Using your measuring device, go the full distance to the next corner or end in the layout. What I'm using here is called a walking wheel. It has a counter that ticks off feet and inches as I push it through the grass. These can be easily found on Amazon or in some hardware stores and are great for longer runs rather than long measuring tapes. Now when I come to my next stopping point, I mark the ground with paint again. I then go back and connect my 2 points with the marking paint. The marking paint will fade from your grass and landscaping within a couple weeks. Repeat this process until your entire layout has been marked. With your layout marked on the ground, the next thing you want to do is run your string line so you have a clean and straight reference point for digging your post holes. Just as we did with marking your layout, start in a corner or on the end of a run. When staking your string line, you want to put the rebar or wood stake 1 to 2 feet from the corner or end. That way it will not be in the way when you go to dig your post hole. Take your rebar or wood stake and tap it in the ground. Only tap it enough for it to stay upright at this time. With your rebar or wood stake in the ground, wind or tie your high visibility string to it. Unwind enough line out to get you to the next end or corner in the layout. As we did with the other end, stake another piece of rebar or wood about 1 to 2 feet past the actual end or corner. You will then wind or tie your line to the other stake. Your string line should always extend past your actual fence line on corners and ends. At this location in the layout, we have a corner or 90-degree turn. As you can see, both runs are extended past the edge of the fence so it will not interfere with the post hole that needs to be dug. Once you have this corner of your layout marked, you can use your Carpenter square or angle finder to ensure you have a clean 90-degree turn. If your string line is off, pull up your stake and fine-tune its position. Once you have your string line run around the entire layout, go back and tap your rebar or wood stake in so they'll stay in place firmly. You may need to go rewind or retie your high visibility string as you go. You want it nice and taut when everything's finished. With the layout runs fully marked and the string line run, the next thing to do is go back and mark the individual post hole locations throughout. What we are looking to mark is the rough on-center location of the post. Be sure to check the printed installation guide for your chosen product. The installation guide will walk you through how to calculate this on-center measurement for full fence panels, cut fence panels, and your gates. Use the string line as your marking guide since it will be more accurate and line up with your corners and line exactly. I typically mark an X where the post will go so I have a nice rough center target to aim for. With all our post locations marked on the layout, we can begin digging our post holes. There are 2 measurements you will need to determine before you begin digging though. The first is the width of the post hole. The rule of thumb is to aim for roughly 3 times the size of the post for the size of your post hole. So if you have a 2-inch post, you will want a post hole roughly 6 inches wide. The second is the depth of your post hole. This will vary depending where you are located and what length of post was provided by us. To determine your post hole depth, refer to your printed installation guide and your order confirmation, which will have the size and length of post provided to you. Now that you have the width and depth of your post hole, you can begin digging. This is a small project, so I'm using a manual post hole digging tool. These can easily be found at any local hardware store. If you have a larger project, you may want to look into a powered auger / post hole digger from a local tool rental company. The time and physical exertion the powered auger / post hole digger will save is well worth the inexpensive rental cost when you have a lot of post holes to dig. Line up your digging tool with your marked location and begin digging. Try to dig your hole as straight down as possible. The rule of thumb for digging the post hole 3 times larger than the post not only ensures enough concrete is used, but it also gives you some wiggle room in digging the post hole. You want to be as close as possible, but don't worry about perfect. When digging the post hole, the goal is that the post will be centered as such so that the outside edge of the fence post is resting on your string line. As you dig your hole, keep the top of it clean and free of debris. You can check the progress of your hole by laying a straight edge of some kind across the hole and then measuring from the bottom of your edge with a tape measure to determine the post hole depth in relation to the yard surface. If you accidentally overdig the post hole, we do not recommend pushing dirt back in. This will compact after the cement is poured and affect your final post hole depth. Our recommendation is to purchase some river pebble or stone chips. You want larger pieces like this and not the smaller pea gravel. Pour the gravel in and smooth it out until your depth measurement gets to where you want it. The final post hole should allow you to place your post like this with the outer face of the post touching your string line and the post roughly centered in the hole. With all of your post holes dug, you're ready to mix your cement and begin setting your posts. We recommend mixing your cement rather than using the dry bag method where you pour the dry cement mix in and pour water on top of it. You wouldn't pour the ingredients for a cake into your pan without mixing them before tossing them in the oven. We feel the same way about mixing your cement before pouring it in the hole. Mixing the cement will allow you to control the consistency of the cement better and ensure it cures more evenly. When mixing your cement, you want it on the dry side. Aim for something roughly the consistency of chunky peanut butter. The reason you want a thicker, drier consistency is so that your post will stand in the cement without any additional support. Place your post in the rough center of the hole and begin shoveling in the cement. You will want to fill the hole within 2 to 3 inches below the yard line. We do this so that you can backfill dirt on top of the cement for a cleaner look and allow grass or landscaping to grow back. With your post set in cement, use your level to ensure the post is plumb on 2 faces of the post. You can fine-tune the post placement by tapping it with your rubber mallet. With your post set, move on to the next one and repeat the process. Be sure to pay attention to the spacing between your posts as you go so that your fence panel is installed correctly. I recommend going back and checking plumb about every 3 to 4 posts to make sure that nothing is shifted. If it has, use your rubber mallet to level and tap them back into place. Once all of your posts are in and the concrete is set up for a little bit, you'll want to go back and fill that 2 to 3 inches at the top of the hole with the soil you dug out. You will want to slightly mound the dirt around the post since the loose soil will likely settle and level out once it recompacts. I hope this video has helped show you how to mark your layout and set your posts when utilizing our Stronghold Iron or Infinity aluminum fences. If you have any other questions about what was covered today, you can shoot us an email at sales@ironfenceshop.com or give us a call at 800-261-2729. We look forward to hearing from you and we're here to help.